Okay, we're back in the barn here. We're going to put the finishing touches on the top of the tub platform. I have all of the framing done. I went ahead and put all the siding on. I have some extra leftover 3/4 ply. I'm going to cut this and template the top out. I've already got a template for the tub's circumference, and we're going to cut the top out, and then we're going to go back. We're going to cut the inside part out. I'm debating on whether we keep this polar protector lid or we build another DIY insulated lid. But either way, we'll be able to use that cutout from inside on top of that. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. I've already traced the bottom of this to match. It's not 100% square. It's not exact 90-degree angles. That's why I went ahead and traced it instead of just drawing it out with the square. So we're going to take this over to the table and we're going to cut it out. My plan is to use something similar to, probably not these, but use some of this vinyl plank flooring with the adhesive on the back and adhere it to the top, because this is going to be getting wet, and if we use something like this vinyl material, it will be waterproof, or at least mostly. There may be some seepage. I usually towel off the outside of the tub area after I'm done plunging, but this will just keep the water from destroying the wood. After that's done, we're going to take, I have some different trim pieces here. We're going to trim this out to make it look real nice, cover up all these edges that will be showing, and yeah, so we'll go ahead and head on over to the saw and start cutting this out. So I have some cardboard here, some tie sheets. This is from pallets that were shipped to us for our protein powder. And I typically will use these either for cutting up to use on targets or things like that when I'm shooting, but I went ahead and traced out half of the top of the tub on one of these sheets, and then I cut it out. One of the most difficult things to do is to figure out how big to make the hole opening for the top of the tub, because the outside of the tub has like a lip, and it's about 1.5 inch overhang where that tub comes over. So I went ahead and traced out the top and then measured in and determined that it was 1.5 inches in from the outside lip. So there'll be an overhang over top of the tub top where the lip sits. I went ahead and marked that. I used a gauge to take and go ahead and mark that 1.5 inches in all the way around. So I'll use this piece as my template once I get the square top cut out. So just a little tip there as far as creating a template. So I've got the top over here. I'm ready to take the saw and rip it down to the dimensions to fit the top. Always wear your safety glasses. Okay, so if you're cutting and you have the opportunity to have a large work surface like I do, or even if you don't, get yourself some of these clamps because they keep things from slipping around. So I just take and I mount it straight to the tabletop here and just give it a little bit of resistance. If you don't have this, and especially if you're doing it alone, as you're cutting, this thing's gonna move on you and it just saves you a lot of headache. You don't want to be trying to hold one part, use the saw on the other. That's recipe for an accident. So, get the right tools, rent them, buy them, do whatever you need to do. These are DeWalt. I'll put a link in the description. I think you can buy them on Amazon or Lowe's or whatever. Just get a couple clamps like this. They make life so much easier. One thing you'll learn is you have to figure out how far in your saw is, because you can get it caught. You don't want to do that. So just make sure that you've got it to a place where you're going to clear any of the guards. Now the worst part about all of this is cleaning up. So I've got my template that I traced from the underside. I set it down on top of the tub, traced underneath it, and then I measured in. And I went ahead and decided that I was going to make the hole just a hair bigger than the actual tub, so I didn't wind up with any fitment problems. So instead of taking off 1.5 inches, which is the overlap that the lip of the tub has, I took off 1.25 inches. So the hole will be slightly bigger, so it'll have a little bit of leeway on either side. And what I'm doing is I'm just trimming this down. I have these handy little woodworking rulers, and they have slides on them where you're able to slide it up and down and mark a position. So I marked it 1.25 inches right here, inset. They've got a neat little groove right here for your pencil. And so you can just set this thing up on the side of it, put your pencil on the side and just run it down and mark the spot 1.25 inches in. And I went all the way around the corner and did that. I've already started to cut, but I decided I probably wanted to show you all what I did here. But literally, you just take this woodworking ruler, you set it on the edge, put your pencil there, and you're able to use that lip on the bottom to hold the cardboard and make yourself a template. So, little trick there. So now I'm just cutting out the cardboard to fit so that I can lay this on top of the plywood that I just cut and use a jigsaw to cut that out. So that will be the dimension of the tub hole. Now I do know that I got a 52-inch dimension from edge to edge on the outside of the tub. I subtracted that 1.25 from either side. So I'll have to use this on one side, mark it, and then do the other side to hit the other arc. I didn't have a piece of cardboard large enough to create a full template. Okay, so I've got my template ready to trace onto the top. The overall dimensions of the top are 58 by 37. So 58 lengthwise, 37 wide. And I took and just centered up the template side to side, so I know I need 3.75 inches on either side, and then on the ends I need somewhere in here 4.25. So just taking the overall dimensions of the top of the tub, the inset, and laying it out, just do this like 6 times just to make yourself happy that you're got all your measurements right, because otherwise you've just wasted an entire sheet of wood. So measure 4 times, cut once, hopefully. I'm just a little anal on it. I've made enough mistakes to realize I need to do it more than just once or twice. With that, I'm going to align this to my temporary marks that I have set up. I've already measured many times. Take a couple of handy tool too, because you can just set your depth dimension here on the side. And go ahead and just mark it with the pencil. And that way you don't even have to trace the side, you just have to get it aligned. So now I know that I've got a straight edge there. Okay, so I have my measurement here that I need, 3.75 on either side. If I just go ahead and mark this using the woodworking ruler here, I don't even have to worry about whether or not this thing is cattywampus or not. I don't know if that's even a word, but my dad used to say it all the time. And so we'll lay it down right there, and it will be aligned, and then I can just take and move this out to where I have the measurement on this side, right there, and trace the outside. There. And we'll flip it on the other side where the measurement is. Don't judge me because my Bengals tape measure. My son let me that. Now we'll take this back over to the table over there, and we'll use a jigsaw and we'll cut this out. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this out with a jigsaw, and one of the things, since we're cutting an inside circle, we're gonna drill a hole to pilot it, and then it'll give the saw a little bit of a place to start, and we'll just follow it all the way around. So I'm going to get this set up very similar to how I had it set up with the circular saw. I'll start with a portion, rotate it, move, cut the next portion, and then just kind of go all the way around. Make sure it's supported so it doesn't fall and crack and rip the rest of the plywood off. So, all right, we'll just get this set up. Okay, so I'm just going to get this started with a pilot hole right here and just get it started. I'm going to go on the inside of that line. I'll actually probably go ahead and do 2. All right. Put that in, and always safety glasses. All right, so we'll start cutting this all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and clamp it down. Almost forgot to do that. All right, so we're going to get cutting. Okay, just making some adjustments. I made this first cut curve here, and I'm just going to go ahead and adjust it to cut this straight edge here. The other thing is we want to make sure that your cutting line is relatively close to your work surface. Otherwise, you can get kind of wobbly. Plus, you can really, really vibrate the heck out of the board, which can cause uneven cuts. So try to get it as close to the work surface as you can.
Sorry, I don't have any video of the actual drop-in. My camera woman went to watch some college football, which I don't blame her. But in any case, you can see here how it fit in very well. And there's the finished product after it's all been trimmed out, which I'll have another video on that coming up soon. How I trimmed it, put the flooring down, and put the final touches on the trim pieces. And there it is. Big shout out to Joe over at DIYcoldplunge.com for creating the initial set of plans. I did make some modifications, but his plans are fantastic. He's also got quite a few of the components you might need if you're building your own. So check them out.